Hello everyone, welcome to our Thursday night Facebook Live. We are jumping in here tonight talking about a brand new topic, as always. Here's the big thing. I have one thing that I have noticed is happening with not only every single one of my clients, but also every single one of the people in my community, in our free Facebook group, the Love Your Guts IBS support group. And truthfully, anyone who's really ever PM'd me, here's what's happening. There's one common thread that's keeping many people's guts out of balance and angry. And tonight I want to really dive in here and hit this head on. It's really going to be short and sweet because we don't need to massage this topic. You know this. The biggest thing is that I'm going to bring it back to light and remind you, give you a couple of tools to help curb it, but at the end of the day, it's going to be up to a decision that you need to make. You have a choice here tonight that you need to make to really decide if this is something that you really want to keep carrying forward. So tonight we're going to be talking about the worst thing for your gut, and that is stress. You see, a lot of people don't want to hear that. A lot of people want a fancier answer than that. But the truth is that stress is annihilating your gut. And yes, there are many other stressors like antibiotics and dehydration, eating the same foods all the time. Heck, even aging will affect your gut. But the number one thing that I am seeing that's happening with every single one of my clients that is keeping people stuck is stress. And so the thing that I want you to remember is you may be experiencing that you're finding that your symptoms aren't improving. Maybe you feel like you have tried everything and nothing seems to be working. The big thing is that often stress is the culprit. You see, you can be doing all of the right things. You can be eating all of the right foods, taking all of the right supplements. But if you are stressing, if you are sitting there in anxiety every day, then you are not going to be able to fix your gut, my friend. So while we, yes, very much need to fill in the gaps and teach you a complete gut repair system so that you can actually fix your gut, feel normal, and start living your life again, the big thing that's going to be the differentiating factor in someone getting to that end goal and maintaining their results are the individuals that successfully learn how to manage their stress. Everyone experiences it. And here's one thing that I find really interesting. This actually happened today on several of the calls that I was on today. I'll ask people, so talk to me about your stress level. Where are you at with your stress? And a lot of people will say to me, well, I guess I'm not really that stressed. I mean, my relationship with my hubby is good, and I have a roof over my head and food in my belly, and I like my job, so I guess, my stress isn't that bad. But here's the thing. The question wasn't how bad is your stress or how is your stress level, the question is how is your stress level? The question isn't how cushy is your life and should you be stressed, right? So a lot of people sort of look around and they're like, well, everything on the surface is fine, so I should be fine. But the truth is a lot of us are not fine. A lot of us are experiencing stress and anxiety around everything from our relationship to our jobs to paying bills to how your body is feeling, your symptoms. A lot of you often wake up in the morning and sort of poke your head out to be like, is today going to be a good gut day or a bad gut day? And that is stressful. And then there's, just small stressors like, what am I going to eat for dinner? It's been such a busy day and I'm tired and I don't feel like cooking and I don't want to cook, but I need to cook and I'm hungry, right? Or, there's dynamics with friends or coworkers. There are so many different factors here, guys. So many factors. And so the question isn't, are you stressed or not? The question is, how bad is your stress? And for many of us, it's quite bad. And I'll never forget my therapist a couple of years ago. She said to me, Alyssa, abuse is abuse, whether it's in the boardroom or it's on the street. And that was really profound to me, because I was working and healing a situation that had happened in my life. And what I was thinking was, I kept looking around. I'm like, well, my life is I guess technically good. Like I have a roof over my head. I have food in my belly. Like I have a supportive family and a supportive spouse. And so, how could I feel in such turmoil? And that was such a profound, eye-opening moment for me. And it's the same thing with your stress, guys. Whether you are experiencing abundance in your life, whether you have wealth in your life and you're experiencing stress, or whether you are experiencing poverty in your life, or hardships or terrible relationships, like stress is stress, no matter what end of the spectrum you're on. Everyone experiences it. There is no person on this planet or in this lifetime that is getting a free ticket. So again, it's not, do you have stress? It's how bad is your stress? So I want you to also understand what's actually happening when you are stressed. And it's such an odd thing, because you can even be enjoying your life. Like, I'll tell you, I love what I do. I love working with people all over the world, helping them fix their guts. And yet it is absolutely stressful sometimes. And it's not because I don't enjoy what I do. It's just there's a lot of balls in the air. There's a lot of people that are contacting me. I get hundreds of messages in a day. And that in itself can feel overwhelming. And so I want you to understand what starts to happen is you can very much be enjoying what you're doing and still be experiencing stress. And it's not necessarily emotional stress that's always affecting us, but it can be physical stress too. So constantly running a really busy schedule is physically stressful for you. If you're eating inflammatory foods, that's also physically stressful for you. So it's not just emotional stress that's going to affect you here. And so when any form of stress starts to impact your body, here's the process and what exactly happens. So studies have actually shown that stress depletes your good bacteria. Now that's a bit of a problem, because your good bacteria help with many different things, everything from your immune system to digesting your foods, and they also help to keep you happy. They help to boost your serotonin levels, which is your happy hormone, okay? Now, the other thing is that studies have shown that stress will deplete your digestive enzymes. Now, these guys are also really important. They help to break down your foods, and they keep the gut acidic to keep bad bacteria out, all right? Now, they are in partnership with your good bacteria. Both of these guys work together as a team to keep bad bacteria out. So you see where I'm going with this, right? Stress, in turn, will create a bad bacteria overgrowth, all right? Now, it's not just that, because you might be wondering, all right, well, that's fine, but, it's not that bad. Maybe my symptoms aren't totally bad, or I'm quite sure that it's food causing the problem or causing my diarrhea or constipation. Well, it goes much, much further than that, because stress actually affects your gut's ability to produce serotonin, which is your happy hormone. And serotonin has been shown to help stimulate motility in the gut. And what I mean by motility is I mean the peristalsis, or the muscle contraction that helps to regulate your poops. So if you are stressed and serotonin is being affected, you are going to either see an increase or a decrease in motility, i.e. you're going to either be constipated and praying to the poop gods that you are going to get some relief because you're so darn bloated because you haven't pooped in days, or every time you do poop it doesn't feel like you ever empty or feel satisfied, or you are going to find that you have too many poops going on. And it might even be runny. You might be the type of person that is having to wear Depends to be able to leave your house, or maybe you have mapped out and routed all of the public bathrooms that are friendly and welcome in people off the street to use their toilets. But either way, stress absolutely connects to your bowels. And there's another interesting piece here that studies have shown is that this very real emotional connection often shows that there are personality traits that go with these symptoms that come from stress. So constipation, what we see with clients with constipation is that there is usually something that they're struggling to digest emotionally in their life, something they're having a hard time accepting. They tend to have a tight grip on life. They're having a hard time letting things go and going with the flow. And they like to maintain a certain level of control in their life, and that's how they feel safest. And so with that control and that tight grip on life, you can imagine the body is so tense and uptight all the time, it's not letting anything go. It's not letting anything in or out, including your poops. And so when we talk about healing constipation, again, you can eat all the right foods and take all the right supplements, but if your way of living and coping through life is to try to control things so that you feel safe or so that your body cooperates with you, if you have this tight grip on your life in general, but also in trying to control things so that you can control the outcome, we need to work on that, because not only is that stressful and feeds you right back into this whole gut loop or this angry gut train, but it in itself is going to prevent you from moving forward and fixing your gut. Now, diarrhea is a whole other thing. We see very similar things with diarrhea. There's some things that we're struggling to digest, struggling to process, maybe emotionally, physically. But the big thing with diarrhea is typically there's a sense of overwhelm, high anxiety, really having a hard time keeping it together, right? And so there's some element of the body, some piece of the body, whether it be emotionally or physically or both, that is like hands up being like, I can't cope anymore. I need to let this go. I can't hold this. I can't deal with it. I don't want to look at it. And so we go through like this purge. Emotional purge, physical purge, whatever you want to call it, but you are landing on the toilet and you're feeling it, you're knowing about it, right? And so there's some element of feeling like you have no control in your life, you feel powerless, or there's like a surrender or like a I'm tapping out kind of feeling, right? And then there's the connection between both, where there's someone who fluctuates between diarrhea and constipation. This is something that I personally experienced when I was trying to fix my gut, where I went through periods, and we see this with clients and studies will support this, where there's such a tight grip on life and you're trying to maintain control and you're having a hard time letting go and you're trying to fix all the things, and you get to a point where it just doesn't seem to be working, and so eventually you're like, screw it, I'm out. I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I need to change something because this isn't working. And there's that like hands up, surrender, letting go, can't cope anymore. And it's like the emotional breakdown and the purge ends up happening with diarrhea. So that can happen for some clients as well. We're fluctuating between diarrhea and constipation. So what I'm going to ask you guys tonight is, listen, you don't need me to really dive into whether you're stressed. We've talked about that. We know you're stressed. Everyone is stressed. There's some amount of stress going on in your life. What I want you to really tune in and evaluate is, how bad is your stress and how is it actually affecting your body? I want you to really monitor when you go into a flare, what was happening in your life at that time? Were you going through a stressful period? Now, some of you might say, no, I actually feel really good. I went through a really stressful period, and that has passed. Well, just remember that everything is cause and effect. So you might not have an immediate reaction, because when we're in these like really stressful periods, what can happen is you go into this like adrenaline fight or flight mode, where it's like you're on guard and you're just running on adrenaline. And eventually what happens is you get through that stressful period, and as soon as you stop, then all of that catches up with you. Right? So a lot of people experience this in different ways, where they go through a really busy period in their life, and as soon as they stop, they get sick. They get a cold or the flu or something like that. Same thing happens with your gut. Okay? So it doesn't necessarily mean it's an immediate reaction, but take a look back and be like, has there been a stressful period that's been happening in my life? Have I been experiencing immediate stress? how am I processing that? What am I doing to work with that? Okay. Then I want to remind you that we have one of the most powerful tools available to us at all times and at no charge. The thing that I want you to remember is that you have the ability to breathe. And it's underrated. I know you're not taking advantage of it, because what tends to happen is we forget to breathe and we get so uptight and we get these shallow breaths and we get running around, and every once in a while we just have to sigh because we haven't taken a deep breath in a while. We haven't stopped and paused and given ourselves a chance to really process all that's been going on for us, whatever that looks like, right? So I'm going to encourage you to take a moment to tap into your breath every single day, not when shit's hitting the fan. Okay? I mean, we tend to wait until our symptoms are affecting our quality of life before we're ready to do something about it. And we often wait until our stress is through the roof and we're coming home and crying and having a meltdown to our partners, and our partners are looking at us like, I didn't sign up for this, right? And so the thing is that I want you to stop waiting until you're in this crisis mode to decide to fix it. And I want you to know that there's no better time than today, right now, than to stop what you're doing and take 10 really deep breaths, all the way down into your gut. Because we need to get that oxygen circulating, okay? You need to take a moment to come down from the buzzing energy and breathe and get back in your body. Stress will take you out of your body, spinning in the clouds, and all of your thoughts and all of the terrible things that could go wrong, all of the stressful things that are happening, how imperfect your symptoms are, and how nothing seems to be going right. And that is all out of body, ungrounded stuff. We need to get you back in your body, remind you that you have one, and the best way that you can do that is to breathe. So 10 deep breaths need to happen every single day. Now, some of you are going to be watching this being like, that's nice, Alyssa. That's probably not going to fix my issues. Do you know what? You're right. It's not going to fix your gut. But breathing is the first thing that you need to start doing to bring down that stress level. And if you don't start bringing down that stress level, you're not going to fix your gut no matter what supplement or food you're taking. So it absolutely matters. And all of these small little pieces are often what's being missed, and missing pieces are what are preventing you from fixing your gut. So breathe your butt off tomorrow. In fact, breathe your butt off tonight before you go do anything. Tonight, before you go to bed, stop what you're doing and take 10 deep, deep breaths. Now, I want to talk to you about one other really important thing when it comes to stress. Often what happens is we are yes people, right? We've gotten to a spot in our life where we keep saying yes to all of the things. And what's going to be really important here is you need to stop saying yes when you really need to be saying no. All right? This is what we call a little bit of boundary setting. But if you are stressed and anxious, that is a sign that you are feeling overloaded, and we need to unpack that a little. And a lot of people come to me and they say to me, I'm just so busy, Alyssa. I just don't have time, Alyssa. And the number one thing that we bring it back to is, okay, what have you said yes to in your life that you need to go say no to so that you can create more time in your life for you to be able to say yes to yourself? One of the most profound things that I've really started to learn and tap into is that a lot of us don't want to be mean. We don't want to say no because we think we're being mean to people, but all that's happening is you're being mean to yourself, because other people are going to be just fine without our help. In fact, us constantly saying yes and saving the day and doing all the work for other people, keeping the house tidy, doing the laundry, doing all the cooking, going to work, trying to keep all the stuff together, you're robbing the people around you, you're robbing them of the experience of learning how to do those things for themselves. I had a lady that I was speaking to yesterday, and she was really struggling. Her teenagers weren't really helping her at home. And I said to her, you know, you are robbing your kids of learning the experience of needing to take care of a home, of having responsibilities. And if you don't start saying no and telling them that they need to start saying yes and involving themselves here, you are creating a situation where these kids are going to go out into the world and they're not going to know how to appreciate the roof over their head. They're not going to know how to do laundry, clean a house, or you know, be able to take care of things. So you're not helping them in any way. You are doing these people a disservice by constantly saying yes when you should say no. So there's that. The other piece is when you say yes, when you really want to say no, you show up with resentment. You show up with fatigue and anger, and you know, you don't show up as your best self. So you need to start saying no, especially when you want to actually say no. And then the last thing that I really want to remind you is that it's okay to say yes to yourself, right? Like, permission granted. Again, you're not being mean to others. You are being mean to yourself. And one of the reasons why you are in this situation where you're struggling with your gut and this gas, bloating, diarrhea, constipation, a little bit of tough love here with much love. I'm saying this because I have been here. I've done this myself. But one of the reasons that you're stuck here is because you've been saying yes to everyone else. And you've been saying no to yourself for too long. And so we need to start reversing that. And so not only do I want you to take 10 deep breaths every single day, I want you to sit down and really look at what is going on in your life that you need to actually say no to. I don't want you to just think about this, guys. I want you to take action in this, okay? I want you to take action in this. So, my goodness, I could talk for hours on this. I want you to start saying no to things. So do you need to start saying no to doing the dishes, right? Do you need to ask for help and say, you know, to your spouse or to your kids, I need your help. Can you please help me? Do you need to start saying, no, I'm sorry, I can't go for coffee with you. I need to spend that time taking care of me right now, right? Where do you need to say no? What commitments are in your calendar that you can reschedule immediately? This is super, super critical, guys. I know this is the unsexy, frustrating, you know, the last thing that you really want to have to look at and talk about, because quite honestly, looking at our feelings sucks and we often don't want to do it. But it has to happen in order to fix your gut. This stress has to go. And I'm not suggesting that you're going to be perfect at it. What we are working on is helping to improve your ability to cope with the stress. And you cannot cope with stress if you are constantly showing up for other people and you don't have any time to process those things for yourself. Take time to come down and recharge. And that is what is going to make all of the difference. All of the difference. And when we do that, the most phenomenal transformations really start to happen. Because when you give your body the space and time to not be fighting and flighting all the time, but in rest and digest, then all of your efforts of bringing in good foods and taking those supplements and resting and exercising or whatever you're doing, it can actually go towards your body healing because it's not fighting to just survive. You are not here to just survive. You are here to thrive. And in order to do that, we need to give you some time to be able to do that. So bring down that stress, implement some hard boundaries, saying no when you need to, and taking time to deep breathe. Okay, guys, I hope that was helpful. I know this feels like the icky topic that no one wants to talk about, but it's got to be done. So I would love to hear from you. I want you to give it a week. Once you've been working on the breathing, saying no, I want to hear from you. Jump into my inbox, send me a private message, and I want to hear from you. What are some of the things that you have started saying no to in your life so that you can create more space and more time and more energy to say yes to yourself? I can't wait to hear from you guys. make sure you jump into my inbox, because otherwise I'm gonna have to come find you and check in with you. So we will talk to you guys soon. Next week, we don't have a Facebook Live happening. I'm out of town for an exciting conference, but the following week, we have one of the most exciting guest speakers coming. And guys, it's just gonna be unreal. It's gonna blow your mind. I'm going to be dropping some hints throughout the next couple of weeks through Facebook and Instagram, so keep your eyes opened and maybe drop some comments in the box here below. Let me know. Send me guess. I want you to guess, like, what do you think we're going to be talking about? It's unrelated to your gut. It's often something that it's another topic that we're not really comfortable talking about. It's even worse than poop, I'll say. And however, though, your angry guts are affecting it and even affecting your relationship with your spouse. And those are all the hints I'm going to give. So drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think we're gonna cover topic-wise. And over the next couple weeks, I'll let you know who's coming in. I'm so excited. I'm also a little nervous because I won't lie, I am probably going to blush like an embarrassed little schoolgirl when we touch on this topic. So I hope you guys are ready. It is going to be amazing. Okay guys, have an awesome weekend and we will see you next week. Bye.